In our last episode, we left off with a promise to dive into something more fun and inspiring. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to create an underwater plant, and I'm excited to share this process with you. First things first, let's get our canvas ready. I'm going to turn off these blocks. We don't need them for our plant, but I do need our sketch so that I can see what I'm going to do. And this is the plant we're going to do first, this big one right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt our canvas so that I have that level, and then we'll just kind of zoom into it right there. Okay, now I need a folder to put this in, so I'm going to create one and call it P1 for plant 1. And I'll add our first layer to draw in. Then I'm going to grab my pen, favorite pen here, and make sure I have the black ink selected. And I'm just going to draw in some stems. And these are going to be fairly thin, not as thick as I've drawn with the pencil, because what I want, this is going to be the inside. And so I'm going to be thickening it up, and I just want these to be. Now, if I get a dull end there, that's okay. It actually is probably better. Okay, so I'm gonna keep adding each of these in. I think I have enough, and I just will draw them wherever I feel like I need one. Don't have to follow the penciling exact because, well, there's just no reason to. That was just put there just to kind of show me where I needed something. I can actually do whatever I want, which I will. And we'll just get these in. It's okay. We'll clean all that part up there. And let's go ahead and hide the sketch and see how that looks. I think that might work. We can add, just some right in here. Now we'll have something in the background too. I'm going to put some stuff in there. But if I didn't like that, I could, like I said, just hit delete and start over again. But I think this is going to be okay. I'll show you why. We're going to do a bunch of cleanup in here, especially down here. So what I want to do is I'm going to make my pen just a little bit bigger, and I'm just going to kind of ink in this part down here. Grab so that I have the transparency paint, so it just makes it act like an eraser basically, and then I can come in and just kind of clean that up. Okay, now I'm going to add another folder, and then I'm going to control click on this one here. So that's what happens. And I'm going to expand this about 15 pixels. That didn't expand it. Expand it, not shrink it. This guy, that's there. I already have 15 put in. I want to make sure it's soft and not a sharp angles. And I'll go ahead and drop black paint in there. Okay, now I need a background. So I'm going to do one more. And I'm going to reverse this selection by clicking this guy here, and now it's reversed. So now I'll be able to draw on this side. And I'm going to draw some stuff in just wherever I want, wherever I think I need some. This is going to be kind of like the stems that are behind all of this, so that we just have some volume. We have some stuff in there. Okay, now that I have that, I have everything that I need, and if I go and turn off some stuff, you see how that looks. Interesting, isn't it? It is kind of interesting. Okay, I'm going to turn this guy off, and I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to grab, again, that transparency Now, if you don't have a transparency for the one that, for the paint tool that you're using, you can just, use an eraser brush. But I love the fact that this has that eraser transparency paint, because then any brush can become an eraser, a specialized eraser. Okay, now just kind of bring these on down. I think I'm going to go ahead and let that come in and let it fall behind, so just kind of like that. And bring this one in like that. Doesn't have to be real accurate because this is going to get blurred a bit, so I want this to kind of like that. And we'll bring this one down. And so what this is, it's kind of so I can separate them out. You'll see when we get there what it's for, but just kind of separate them out a little bit like that from other parts, so we can get this feeling of some of them are over the top of the others. Okay, I'm going to bring this down under like this. Just there's one that needs to be separated out. Because I don't have, tertiary or secondary limbs. They're all single limbs with nothing else growing off of them is what I want. And so I need to make it look like one is over the other. One is on top. One, so that you can get some depth. Okay, let's see. Any I miss? And it looks like I got them all right there. Now, the one furthest away is this right here, and there's not much we need to do with it other than give it some color. And I'm going to use the sunset gradient. Now you may have to flip it. Okay, so there's a flip button. By hitting that there, I can flip either way. And I've already got it set up to flip the way that I want it. And so the first time you try it may be the wrong direction, then just use that to flip it. I don't need to go very far up. Let's see, I just want some like that. And I'm going to actually go. Sometimes this gets tricky. And that's because, see, when it first starts out, it doesn't know which way you're going to move your mouse, and so I have to let it catch up with me, and then I can slowly drag it out, and that's probably going to work for me. Okay, now we need the second part, and so I'm going to close out the background for that one, and I believe it's going to be this one. Yes, it is. Now there's going to be two parts to creating this guy. First, I'm going to go with light. It's not quite white. It's got a little bit of color in it. And the reason we need the color in it is because it's going to glow, and it's going to be with that blue background from the water. So by doing that, it will end up being white instead of a light blue by adding a little bit of color. It'll look right. Okay, so I will up there and fill that in, and that's going to become our glow. Okay, now I'm going to add another layer here, and I should have left the selection on. So with the selection turned on for this guy, and I got it to go back on just by doing a control click on there, and I'm going to shrink this one, not 15 but about 3, maybe I'll do 4 on this one. Yeah, let's do 4. And width. So make sure that I did create the layer. I don't have anything under it. So now I'll go to the gradient, same gradient I used for that background one, and I'm going to bring this up. because I want some white tips there. I got white tips on a few of them. And we should still see, so if I turn this off, we still see the white edging there. Okay, now I'm going to come back down to this layer, not the one I'm on, but the one below it, and click on it. So you see it clicks on it makes the glow of the selection. And I'm come up to leave it on the layer that I'm on, because I'm going to blur this color. And I want to blur it, you know, a little bit. And as you can see, it starts to, but I'm still holding on to that light color underneath it. If I go too far, I can obliterate everything, but I want to make sure I get, you know, that light color there on the edges. So if there you go. So see how it kind of stands out. But we're going to get even more in there in just a second. I'm going to add another layer. Now I'm going to close this one out and click on the one that I did first, which was, remember those real thin lines? Don't look so thin now, but they were. Now I'm going to pick a color right inside here, something towards the dark, and try to fill this in. Let's see, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to do that again. Remember this one here that had the yellow, or the glow, the trim. I'm going to control click on him again, because he's the one I want to have selected. And then notice our edges in there. Can you see them? Okay, watch what happens when we do a Gaussian blur on that. I'm going to blur that and see now it looks like you know, the stems are running through there. And then I'm going to change this to a hard light. So now, okay, now problem is that I have it's way too dark down here. I don't need it that dark. So we're going to do some adjustments on this guy here. Lighten it up just a bit. Now you can start to see that it's allowing stuff to look like it's flowing over one another. And this is like, because this sunlight's going to be shining through it, so I want to have a little bit of a glow to it. And we can adjust, you know, up here the hue if we want, and just kind of experiment with it, see what we like. And now you can kind of get an idea of what's going on here. Okay, so now let me straighten it back out by just hitting that. So now it's back to the way that the sketch was. And I'm going to turn on our water background and our sun rays, and then back all the way out. And now you can get an idea of what's going on. We're not done yet. We got one more thing we want to do, and before we can say it's finished. And then if we want to get an idea of what it will look like sitting on rocks, that's kind of what will happen. So not too bad. I think that's pretty close to what I was envisioning when I did the sketch. Now, we're going to add another layer here. And I'm going to make it glow, add glow to it. That's going to be its layer setting. And then I want pretty light color, but not in the red. I want it to be more in the yellow side. Kind of like what we had for our edges. Okay, then I'm going to hit this airbrush tool and tone scraping, and I have it set the brush size to 120, particle size 95. Our particles, you know, are set to 3 with some, and you can experiment with these, how much you want it to, you know, spread around, how big or how much deviation you want in the sizes, and do that. I have it on 3 right now, 3 on both of those, and 95 for the particle size. Again, experiment with it. I have hardness all the way down. I want that anti-alias, kind of the blur effect, and I think, and opacity, of course, 100%. Okay. Again, I'm going to click on this one right here, this guy, And then I'm going to hit this one, invert the selected area. Okay, now what that allows me to do is I can start doing, see, I'm going to put these little sparkly things on there, on the edges, like that. Just some sparkle. And we'll do that too. All of these. I'll make sure that I get enough on it, and I can even come all the way down. And on this side, we'll put some on those too, but we'll let them come over. So it kind of looks like, you know, there's two sides to all of this. That it's not a flat. It's not flat, it's kind of rounded. Give it some volume as well. Why we've got stuff back there. Again, I'm trying to create the feeling of 3D-ness to it. And that's what the tricks do is give you the tools to help you achieve, you know, whatever goal you're going for. And if you are trying to turn a 2D object into a 3D look, you know, yeah, this is how you do it. One way, anyways, you know, for this kind of stuff. Everything though, you know, there's so many cool techniques out there. It's just, you know, just go out and experiment, find stuff and experiment with what other people are doing. And if you got an improvement on this, share it with others, put it in the comments, or if you've got something that you'd like to add to it, add it to the comments for other people to look at. And you know, that way we learn as a community of creators, not just, you know, this is something that, in my opinion, you know, everybody's afraid of AI. Don't be afraid of AI. I use AI to do a lot of, well, if I want to do quick and dirty, AI is the way to do it, because it's great at that. But if you are looking for ideas, use AI to get ideas from. It's a lot faster than trying to go on Google but AI can't create. It doesn't have that ability because, first off, AI can't make a mistake, and it doesn't have the ability to decipher a happy accident from a mistake. It just creates and gives to you, and then you decide is that good or not. It doesn't decide for you. It just says here, you know. But it's using in its database stuff that humans have already done, other creators have created. It's just mimicking, and that's what we do too, though, right? You go and you look for images that match what you're trying to achieve, and you find something to inspire you and give you ideas, and you go, oh, hey, you know, that might work, that might be even better, and then you apply that to your stuff, and of course, when your stuff's out there, somebody's going to do the same thing with your stuff. Go, oh, hey, I like what you did. I am going to try something like that with what I'm working on. And that's basically what I'm doing here. Is I'm sharing a technique, and AI, of course, will copy what we do. So if you're stuck with AI, AI will never replace the creators, because one, AI cannot create, not at this point. And so what is creation? Well, creation is actually making a mistake and finding out, because now you may find a creative way to use something that you already did, but once you do it, and you go and do it again, then that's not being creative. If you repeat the same thing over, but we experiment. AI doesn't experiment. We experiment all the time. We're trying something, like, to come up with this concept, I had to experiment with a lot of different ways of doing it until I got, oh, wait a minute, that works good. Or look up how somebody else has done it and see if that works with me. If it doesn't, then I'm going to keep experimenting. But you learn from experiment. And what is experimenting? Experimenting is doing something and finding out if it's wrong. You don't do it again. You go to something else. But when it's wrong and it doesn't work for you, you'll find out something else. And that's that it could work for something. It could work for in a different application, in a different way, for a different piece of art, for a different project. And that's what this is all about. Okay. And now we pull it out, and there we go. And there's our first plant. Let me turn off the selection, and I can turn back on the block 1, and you can see what it's going to look like. And then we will start drawing rocks around it. And I think that will work real good for us. Now, when we get the rocks in here, we will do we'll touch this up and we'll darken it. And obviously this line can't stay there, and we'll darken, put some shadows. We'll have some rocks coming over the top of it. Okay, I think that does it for this episode. In the next episode, we'll do some other types of plants to get over into that side.